welcome back to the deep dive. So if you're aiming for those really massive goals, mastering a complex skill, running a marathon, maybe just building a better habit, you've definitely heard two words thrown around constantly: motivation and discipline.
Absolutely. They seem like the twin pillars of getting anything done, right?
Exactly. But here's the thing. They often get, conflated.
Yeah.
Treated like they're just different words for the same kind of energy.
And our sources, they really push back on that. They make it clear they are not interchangeable at all. They're actually codependent forces, but they do completely different jobs on your journey.
And that's really our mission today, isn't it? To stop just skimming the surface with these ideas. We're going to deep dive into the source material to show that, they're two sides of the same coin, but one is like the engine, that internal reason that gets you started.
And the other is the strategic bridge, the thing that makes sure you actually get across to the finish line.
So let's nail down that core difference right away, because it's key before we go any further. Motivation is the why, the reason behind your goal.
Right. And discipline, that's the strategy. Or you could say the how you actually implement that goal, especially when inevitably that initial why starts to fade a bit.
Okay, let's dig into that fuel first then, motivation. The sources call it the why behind the goal, this inner force based on inspiration. But what actually fuels that inner force? One article really broke it down nicely.
Yeah, it talked about how it's a mix, isn't it? It comes from both your internal and your external reasoning.
That distinction feels really important. When we say motivation, we need to get specific about that why. So internal reasoning, that's like intrinsic stuff.
Exactly, intrinsic. Your own desire maybe for mastery or just plain curiosity about something or, the pure enjoyment of doing the thing itself.
Okay, so if I'm playing guitar just because I love how it sounds and feels, that's intrinsic.
Perfect example. And then external or extrinsic reasoning is when the drive comes from outside, like a reward maybe, social approval, getting paid, or even avoiding some kind of punishment.
Got it. So learning that same guitar piece just to impress people at a party, that'd be extrinsic.
Precisely. And the source material really emphasizes that motivation, the kind fueled by inspiration, it's like that little engine that says you can, particularly when everything else in you is screaming, I can't.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And when that engine is really humming, usually because those intrinsic drivers are strong, you feel like you could, move mountains. And here's a key point from the research. Motivation isn't some magical gift you either have or don't. It's framed as a lifelong skill.
Oh, interesting. A skill you can improve.
Yes, exactly. Something you can deliberately get better at through self-awareness and by using, proven strategies, like consciously focusing on those deeper intrinsic reasons.
Okay, so if motivation is that initial fuel, the emotional why, let's pivot to discipline. This is where the action happens, right? Discipline is defined maybe a bit loosely as the strategy or the route you follow consistently to hit those goals.
And what's really fascinating about discipline, according to the sources, is how personal it is. Unlike motivation, where the why might feel somewhat universal, everyone has reasons. Discipline actually differs from individual to individual.
So my how won't be your how.
Probably not. Your specific strategy for keeping the effort going will be tailored to you. It's the structured path you build for yourself.
Okay, let's make that concrete. Say my motivation is just, live a healthier life. One person's discipline strategy might be all about changing their environment, like putting gym clothes out the night before, hiding the junk food.
Right, environment design.
While another person might use habit stacking, like deciding I'll do 10 push-ups right after my morning coffee every single day.
Exactly. Same why. Healthier life, but completely different personalized hows. And this leads us straight into that fantastic quote from the entrepreneur Jim Rohn. He really nailed the relationship.
What quote is that?
He said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment.
Okay, hold on. Discipline is the bridge. I like the metaphor, but it feels a little backwards. If motivation is the engine, wouldn't the engine drive over the bridge? Why is discipline the bridge itself?
Good question. Think about it this way. The engine motivation, it can be unreliable, right? It starts and stops.
Yeah.
Maybe the weather gets bad, metaphorically speaking, or the road gets bumpy and the engine sputters.
Yeah, motivation definitely comes and goes.
But the bridge, discipline, that's the permanent structure. It's non-negotiable. Your goals are on one side of the chasm, accomplishment is on the other. You can't just wish yourself across with pure desire, no matter how powerful the engine feels today.
Okay.
You need that concrete structure, the daily grind, the strategy, the system to actually connect those 2 points.
Yeah.
Discipline is the commitment to walking across that bridge day in and day out, no matter how much fuel or motivation you feel like you have in the tank at that moment.
Right. That clarifies it. The structure is the constant, not the feeling.
Exactly. Which brings us neatly to why we even need that bridge so badly. Let's talk about the big limitation of motivation. Its fatal flaw, really.
Which is, it doesn't last.
Precisely. It's inherently unreliable. It gives you that relatively short-term boost of momentum, which, let's be honest, we've all felt.
Oh, yeah. That New Year's resolution energy.
That's the one. It can quickly burn up. Think about that amazing feeling after you watch an inspiring documentary or read some powerful self-help book. You're ready to conquer the world.
For about 3 days. Maybe a week if you're lucky.
And the sources are really clear on this. Trying to run on motivation alone, especially if it's mostly that external reward-based kind, it's basically a recipe for being sporadic and ineffective.
Sporadic and ineffective. Ouch.
Yeah, because when the fatigue inevitably hits, or just the sheer novelty wears off, that initial why often isn't strong enough anymore to actually make you do the thing. You need motivation for the kickstart, sure, but it becomes, well, fairly redundant without discipline to keep the momentum going.
That really hits hard. Okay, so flip side. What specific edge does discipline give you in that maintenance phase? What can it do that motivation just can't?
Well, discipline is all about building systems, not riding emotional waves. It's a learned method, a way you develop to maintain productivity over the long haul.
So less about intense bursts, more about steady rhythm.
Exactly. Motivation might fuel a crazy 12-hour work session today. Discipline is what guarantees you put in 2 solid hours every single day for the next 6 months. It creates and sustains that clear pathway by turning actions into repeatable templates.
So discipline is something you cultivate, like gardening. It's cultivated over time. It's not just this lightning strike of inspiration you get gifted with.
You've got it. It sounds like discipline is essentially the system you design to protect yourself from your own, flaky feelings.
Flaky feelings. I like that. It's true, though.
It really is. Think about, say, writing a novel. Motivation might power you through writing a truly brilliant first chapter. You're buzzing.
Yeah, feeling like Hemingway.
Totally. But discipline is setting that timer for 60 minutes every single morning. Whether you feel inspired or you feel like watching cat videos and you make yourself sit down and type, it's the measurement, the consistency, the commitment to the action itself, not the feeling about the action.
Okay, now let's push this further. We're moving into where discipline really shows its survival mode.
Yeah.
The sources really emphasize that discipline is what drives success specifically when things get tough in the face of real adversity.
Yes, this isn't just about making easy choices easier. It's about making the hard choices mandatory.
It's that sheer refusal to give in to resistance, isn't it?
Absolutely. And here's maybe the biggest differentiator we found. Motivation tends to help you with the tasks you already want to do, or at least feel excited about initially. Discipline forces you, compels you to do the work you genuinely don't enjoy, but you know deep down is essential for progress.
Ugh, yeah. That tedious spreadsheet analysis, or the compulsory cross-training for an athlete, or just the boring admin work that always follows the exciting project launch.
That's exactly it. That's where the rubber meets the road. Discipline keeps you moving when motivation hasn't just run out of gas, but maybe the motivation voice is actively whispering, just quit. This sucks.
It keeps you going even when part of you wants to bail.
And this commitment, this battle, it extends inward too. This was maybe the most fascinating angle in the source material, how discipline helps conquer internal mental roadblocks.
You mean like negative self-talk?
Yes, very much so. We're talking about quieting that nagging voice in our minds, and that includes the whole nasty suite of mental blocks. Fear of failure, certainly, but also imposter syndrome, and even the fear of success.
Okay, fear of failure, imposter syndrome, those make sense. But fear of success, why would success need discipline? Shouldn't that be the reward, the time to relax?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But not according to these sources. Discipline is crucial to handle success because success brings a whole new level of challenges.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Suddenly, there are higher stakes. maybe more external pressure, the need to maintain that new high level of performance. If you got there on a temporary surge of motivation without the underlying discipline,
You can't sustain it.
exactly, you might not have the systems in place to handle the new reality. So the fear of success can often actually be the fear of the sustained, disciplined effort required after you've achieved the initial goal. It's scary to think you might not be able to keep it up.
Wow. Okay. So discipline isn't just pushing through failure. It's also managing success. It's the tool that silences the voice predicting failure and the tool that helps us handle the complexity and ongoing effort that success demands. It's like a mental conqueror.
A mental conqueror, I like that. It forces us to look honestly at our mistakes and limitations, and then, crucially, build systems to systematically overcome them next time.
And bringing this back to just like overall life management skills. You mentioned Jim Rohn again.
Yes, his perspective ties in here too. He argued that you need consistent self-discipline to truly master other essential life skills, things like time management, effective goal setting, even leadership.
Without that consistency.
Without it, the source material warns pretty clearly, your efforts just stay sporadic and ineffective. You might have a great week managing your time, but only discipline makes you a true master of your schedule month after month, year after year.
Okay, so if we actually manage to cultivate this mental conqueror, this consistent discipline, what are the payoffs? What are the immediate personal benefits we start to see?
Well, beyond the obvious benefit of actually being more productive and getting things done, the deeper benefits are really internal. Cultivating discipline rapidly boosts your self-confidence
Wow.
because every day you follow through, you're proving to yourself concretely that you are capable of keeping your commitments even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. That builds trust in yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
It also builds patience. You start to understand that real results come from consistent systems, not just sudden flashes of brilliance or effort. And maybe most critically, discipline teaches you the specific mechanisms, the actual steps you need to overcome failure when you inevitably encounter it again. You learn how to get back up.
So it makes you more resilient.
Definitely more resilient, more confident, more patient, and better equipped to handle setbacks.
Right. So let's try and wrap this up. What's the core takeaway for someone listening?
I think the main synthesis is this: motivation. It's the spark, it's exciting, it's the catalyst, it's that initial why that gets the engine running, but it's fundamentally, a fleeting emotion.
Comes and goes.
Exactly. But when you face the real grind of life, the tough days, the burnout, those overwhelming mental hurdles, or even, as we discussed, the pressure of sustaining success-only discipline is going to reliably carry you across Jim Rohn's bridge.
So discipline is that commitment.
Yeah.
The commitment to the structure you've built for your goals, no matter what your mood is telling you, no matter the immediate circumstances.
That's the heart of it.
And as you listening are thinking about how to apply this, maybe starting today, we found one definition of this kind of effort in the source material that was just incredibly powerful and direct. It's from Mike Tyson.
Ah, yes, the Tyson quote. He really cut right to the bone, didn't he?
He did. What was it again?
Mike Tyson said, "Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it."
Wow. Do it like you love it. That
Yeah.
is quite a standard to aim for. Not just do it, but do it with that intensity.
It's challenging, for sure.
So the final thought for you listening is this. Look at your own goals right now. What's the specific part, the task that you genuinely hate? The spreadsheet. Waking up early. That difficult conversation you need to have.
Find that point of resistance.
Exactly. And then ask yourself, how can you start building a non-negotiable discipline strategy, starting today, that ensures you perform that task, and not just perform it, but perform it with the focus and intensity needed to actually bridge that gap between where you are now and where you ultimately want to be. Maybe start trying to make that consistency your new, more reliable engine.